There's a YouTube script formula so powerful, it can't help but hook in enough viewers to fully book your calendar, and I'm about to show you exactly how to write one. And this isn't about being charismatic on camera or having Hollywood-level production. It's just a 5-step script structure that I've used to convert viewers into thousands of paying students, and that service business owners in just about every niche you can think of use to get more client inquiries than they can even handle. In this video, I'm going to show you all 5 steps of my perfect script formula, the common script mistakes that send viewers running, and real examples of each element in action so you can start using this immediately. Now, before I break down each of these 5 steps, you need to understand what makes this script formula work so well. It's not just about following a template, it's about tapping into something primal about how our brains are wired to pay attention. Remember those old infomercials from the 90s? They'd always start by showing someone struggling, desperately scrubbing a stained carpet, or wrestling with tangled hoses, or chopping vegetables painfully slowly. They made you feel the problem before they offered any solution. That is stakes, making you care about the outcome. Then they would tease the solution, but make you wait through demonstrations and testimonials before revealing the price. That's tension. That uncomfortable feeling when you know there's an answer, but you don't have it yet. And just when you thought you had all the information,
but if you call now, within the next 20 minutes,
they'd open another loop in your brain that kept you watching. We used to laugh at them, but they generated billions in sales because they understood human psychology so well. It's just a scientific fact that people need both stakes and tension to stay engaged. Today's YouTube viewers are way more sophisticated, but their brains still work the same way. So when you create a gap between what they know and what they want to know, they literally can't help but keep watching. The script formula I'm about to teach you uses this principle in every single section, constantly beating their expectations while opening new loops that they need to get closed. So I'm calling this step 0 because you have to do it before even starting on your script. And I'm serious, if you skip this, the whole script falls apart. You gotta write your title before your script, and there are a few reasons for this. First, your opening line has to confirm that the viewer's in the right place based on the expectation that the title gave them. Then you need to ratchet up the stakes over and above what the title promised. For example, if your title says healthy meal prep that actually tastes good, your first sentence better show that you're actually going to be prepping tasty, healthy meals. But to exceed expectations, you'd add something extra like,
taste as good as restaurant food,
or
make me feel good and give me energy.
All the best YouTube creators do this in every single video. Your title creates a promise, and your script has to deliver on that promise immediately, then over-deliver throughout the rest of the video. So yeah, you can't do a good job of any of that if you don't already know your title and the baseline promise that it's making. Okay, so once you've got your title worked out, it's time for the hook. Is the most important part of your entire script because, not sure if you know this little depressing fact, but 30 to 40% of people leave educational videos in the first 30 seconds. Think about that for a second. You could have the perfect solution to someone's problem, be the exact expert they need, but they're gone before you even get started. And to overcome that, your hook needs to do 2 things. Clearly state what your video is about and make the viewer believe this content is specifically for them and is gonna offer real value. Get both of these right, and they literally can't help but keep watching. Now, before I tell you my 3 proven hook formulas, we gotta talk about what most YouTubers mess up here. They either wait too long to reveal what the video's about, they talk about themselves instead of addressing the viewer directly, or they don't create any curiosity about what's coming next. But here are 3 different hook formulas that sidestep those mistakes so you don't lose anyone. The first formula is the information gap hook. So this is where you create curiosity by showing there's something important they don't know yet, either a future change or a hidden detail that affects them. For example, if you're an accountant, starting January 1st, a small filing change could lower quarterly tax payments for a lot of LLCs. I'll show you who qualifies and the exact form to use. Or if you're a chiropractor, there's a 30-second morning stretch that most people skip, but it prevents 80% of lower back pain throughout the day. I'll show you exactly how to do it without equipment. You see how that works? You're revealing a gap in their knowledge that has real consequences. The second formula is show and teach. So this combines a quick real-world demo with a lesson. You show what worked and then you teach the steps so viewers can copy it. So a plumber might say, if your sink slows down every month, I tested 3 fixes: enzyme cleaner, a 15-minute trap clean, and a $12 hair tool. One worked for good. I'll show you the safe way to do it. Or a web designer. We dropped a homepage bounce rate from 72% to 49% by changing one headline. I'll show you the before and after and the exact copy formula we used. And the power here is you're not just teaching theory, you're showing actual results and then breaking down how to repeat them. The third formula is the hot take hook. So you start by stating a firm belief that goes against common advice, then prove it fast. This positions you as the real trusted expert who knows better than the rest of the crowd. An interior designer might open with, everyone tells you to pick paint colors first when redesigning a room, but that's actually the worst place to start. I'll show you why starting with lighting will save you hundreds of dollars and get you a better result. Or if you're a fitness trainer, you've been told to do cardio before weights for fat loss, but for most people over 40, that's completely backwards. I'll show you the research and the simple switch that doubles your results. And the key with any of these is to keep your promise specific and deliverable. Don't overpromise, just create enough tension that they need to know what comes next. And speaking of tension, here's where we really want to ratchet it up. So studies show that people are much more likely to watch a whole video if they know there's something coming up that they're looking forward to seeing. It's why every reality show shows what's coming up after the break. It's saying to the viewer, you don't want to miss this.
I am so done with her. What in the actual... Love a little chaos.
Okay, so this is a slightly toned down version of that, but the idea is still the same. This section is about strategic tension building using open loops, but it's actually way simpler than it sounds. Here's all it is. You're just gonna tell people what they're gonna get, learn, or be able to do in this video. So you're gonna literally say out loud in this video, then based on your title, ask yourself, what are the 3 questions that your viewers desperately want answered? Then just frame each point as an intriguing question or partial reveal. Don't say, I'll show you common mistakes. Say, I'll reveal the one script mistake that's costing you clients. Not just tips for better conversions, but the psychological trigger that makes visitors book calls immediately. You're creating those information gaps here, things they now need to know. And once you've brought them up, leaving would feel like it's out of the question now because they would be missing out on crucial information. And since this is so important, I actually like to show it on screen in written text as a coming up screen. And this should look pretty familiar because I showed it just a few minutes ago. Step 3 is what I call your story intro, and this is where you set the foundation for everything you're about to teach. It needs to reverse engineer the belief or understanding that your viewer needs before your teaching makes sense. If you're gonna teach them 5 website mistakes, your story intro might need to first help them understand why most website advice is outdated. Or if you're teaching YouTube strategies, maybe they first need to understand that YouTube isn't actually about going viral. You've got 3 powerful options here, and each one works for different situations. So first is the mini history lesson. Now, this works great when you need to show how we got to where we are today. Like if you're explaining why Facebook ads don't work like they used to, you'd take viewers back to 2015 when ads were cheap and targeting was incredible, then walk them through what changed. The history gives context that makes your current advice make more sense. Second is the metaphor or analogy, like what I did a few minutes ago when I compared the psychology of good scripts with infomercials. I've done a lot of this in my own videos actually, and it's perfect for making abstract concepts tangible. Watch how I did this in one of my recent videos. So picture this, you're at the airport and there are 2 security lines. The regular line's packed, hundreds of people shuffling forward, laptops out, toiletries on full display, waiting forever. But right next to it, there's the TSA pre-check lane that's practically empty, moving people through in minutes. Why? Well, because it requires a little upfront planning, a background check, an $85 fee, and most travelers just can't be bothered. And YouTube works like that too. Yes, millions of videos get uploaded every day, but 95% of them are the equivalent of that crowded regular security line, rushed, low quality content that people throw together without a real strategy. Meanwhile, the pre-check lane for the creators who invest just a little extra time in research, scripting, and actually solving problems, that lane's wide open. The key here is just picking something that your audience already understands and using it to explain something that they don't. The third option is a personal story or case study. So this could be your own lived experience, like how I discovered this script formula through years of trial and error. Or it could be a client's transformation story. This type works great because it's a chance to step out of teacher mode and into human being mode if it's your own story you're sharing. Or if it's a client story, it's a great reinforcement that what you're recommending actually works and that you've gotten that result for others before. And the real power here is that stories create emotional connection. When you share how someone just like your viewer overcame the exact problem that they're facing, they lean in because they see themselves in that story. Whichever formula you pick here, the goal is just to establish the why behind your teaching points before you get into the what and the how. And this section's doing some heavy lifting. It's building the foundation that makes everything else that comes after it click. That brings us to step 4, the meat of your content. So this is where things can calm down a bit and you can just teach what people came to see. But you should still be using a few clever tricks here and there to keep exceeding expectations and increasing that watch time. So let's come back to our psychology principles for a second. So if we want to keep people around, we need to increase the tension and the stakes for each point you teach. And I've got the easiest way to do that coming up in just a second. But most people, if they made a video about, say, 7 profitable side hustles, would do it like this. So side hustle number 3 is affiliate marketing. Then they would go on to explain what that is and why it's a great opportunity. The problem with that approach is it just gives it away. And people may feel like, okay, I know how to do that already, or I think I know where this is going, or they just don't like that suggestion and they're off to the next video. But what if instead of simply revealing the point before explaining it, you flipped it and reversed it, meaning you introduce the tip by the problem it solves and the amazing opportunity it presents, then reveal what it is. Now here's what that looks like. This next side hustle requires 0 upfront investment. You can do it completely online by yourself, and some people are making $10,000 a month just by recommending products they already use and love. You don't need to create anything, ship anything, or deal with customers. All you need is an audience, even a small one, who trusts your recommendations. Now they're leaning in, and then you reveal, this is affiliate marketing and here's exactly how to do it the right way. See the difference? By building up the problem that it solves and the opportunity first, then doing the reveal, you're creating tension in the viewer's brain that would be completely missing if they just knew the punchline up front. And by talking about those benefits first, you're also raising the stakes. Now they need to know what this thing is. Then here's the key. When you close that loop by revealing what it is and teaching it, you immediately want to open another loop for the next point. Something like, now this next method's even better if you don't have an audience at all yet. As for ordering your points, here's a pro tip I learned from this YouTuber, Callaway, and I think it's pretty genius. He recommends front-loading your content strategically. Specifically, put your second best point first, then your absolute best point second. This creates this subconscious pattern that your content's getting better as it goes. If your second point is weaker than your first, you're basically telling viewers that the video's getting worse, and then they're gonna leave. But if you can get them going in the right direction for 2 points in a row, you've won them over now. Doesn't mean the rest of your points can suck, but the point is they trust you more now and they're more willing to go along with you. Which brings us to step 5, your call to action. And this is where I see so many YouTubers completely destroy all the good work they just did. So here are the 2 biggest call to action mistakes that absolutely kill your momentum. First, the wind down. Never, and I mean never, say things like, okay guys, hope that was helpful, or so those were the 5 tips for better YouTube scripts. I get it, we were trained in school to always conclude our papers, but on YouTube, any wrap-up language signals to viewers that it's over, nothing more to see here, and they just leave as soon as they start hearing that. The second mistake is using every video to send people back to your website. So I get why you think you want to do that, right? You're doing this to get clients after all, right? But the thing is, it takes about 7 hours and 11 separate interactions for someone to feel like they know you. That's according to Google's own research. So, one video isn't enough to turn a viewer into a client. You need them to binge watch, not one, but 3, 5, 9 of your videos, building that relationship over time. So here's what actually works. The 75-25 rule. Now, 3 out of 4 videos should send viewers to another video. Then only 1 in 4 should direct back to your website. So when sending them to another video, you want to pick one that's either the logical next step or something foundational that they need to understand first. Then right after your last teaching point, without any kind of a wrap up, just say something like, and my next tip is so important it deserved its own video. Click right here where I'll show you exactly why this one thing could double your results. You're treating that next video like it's just the next point in this video, so it wouldn't even make sense to wrap it up in between. And when you do send people to your website, you still want to avoid wrap-up language. So say something like, while this perfect script formula is powerful, there's a lot more that goes into creating an on-demand client list of people who can't wait to work with you. That's why you're invited to my free masterclass, How to Attract Unlimited Clients from YouTube, where I reveal my complete 4-step system for service providers to predictably generate leads and clients while you sleep. So click here to save your spot, and let's see how easy it is to get everything else right.